Welcome to Cosmic Comics, Games and Collectibles, your zen of geekism. We carry comics old and new, magazines, toys, games like Pokemon, Magic, D&D. Want Godzilla, Ultraman, Star Trek, Ninja Turtles, Funko Pops? You'll find it all here. Shop our Cosmic Sound Room and pick up a record or two. Enjoy our Comic Coffee Lounge with a cup of Sasquatch coffee or a delicious menu item while geeking out over a super cool movie on our big screen. Come by and say hello to Maui. Cosmic Comic, Games and Collectibles. Superman loves us, and so will you.
I just want to be beating on kettle drums during that. I love the rhythm of that one. Glad we got a new audio file to go over that video. Hello, everybody. I am RJ Carter, Senior Managing Editor here at criticalblast.com, and we are in our second live stream of the afternoon. We just finished up with Miss Nina Daisy Aberline. See, I still say it right, don't I? Still working on it. I say it and then I stop. I'm like, yeah, I said it right. Okay, we are going into our second stream here. We're going to have Mr. Rich Perrotta with the Incantesi. Rich, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, doing well. Finishing up another page of artwork today. I have 11 pages left to finish up chapter 2, and did a whole bunch of other stuff today. I made sweet potato gnocchi. I was all over the place today.
Man, I had to go to Walmart, because that's what we do for survival here. And it's just like, okay, I need bread and I need envelopes. I needed to get small envelopes because now that we're monetized and we take memberships, I have to give something to our members. So I'm like, well, we got these 3-inch stickers and these 2-inch keychains. So if you become a member on the channel, guess what? I'm going to throw them in an envelope and send them to you for having done so. And our membership is like the 99-cent bottom tier membership, because I'm like, that's all I want to do. I don't want to mess around with trading cards and everything else. Who wants a trading card with me anyway?
I'm sorry, give me 1 second. I'm on a podcast. Babe. All right. Sorry. Anyway, go ahead.
No, it's cool. So yeah, I was doing that, but coming back, I had to stop on the country road here. I was almost at the house, and there's a deer in the road. You stop when there's a deer, because if you're even going 3 miles an hour, they will total your car. So I'm stopped, and the mama deer goes off to the right, and her baby. And I swear to God, Rich, this baby probably still wet, because it was like, how do these leg things work? She didn't even come up to my knee, as far as tall she was. She went the other direction. I'm like, okay, put the car in park in the middle of the road so no one's going to go past either way, because last thing I wanted was that deer to cross the road on its own and get hit. But I got over there, and she was hunkered down in the grass, and I'm like, go this way. I saw the mama come back on the other side. I'm like, great, you're back. I got that on video, and I was taking pictures of her because I'm like right on top of her. She's like a small dog, and I'm like, go, get away from the road. And she's like right there on the side of the road, just hunkered down there. So she finally started sliding down the embankment just a little bit. I'm like, okay, well, you're going to slide down, get up, run into the woods. No, she slid down onto her back and screamed. I've never heard a deer scream before. It sounds like a goat. She got her little spindly leg hooked around the back of her head, and she's hopping around on 3 legs. So I had to get her, and I had to say, okay, let's straighten you out here, and pushed her into the. That's how my day started.
Oh my goodness!
But
the mother just kept on going.
Well, no, the mother came back from the other side of the road to her side of the road. And I could hear her walking around in the leaves out there. Thank God it was, just a small mom too, because if she'd had anything like antlers, she'd have let me know to stay away. It wasn't grizzlies, it's deer. But they're reunited. They were on their way. I don't know if I saved a life, but I definitely, got her reunited. I don't know how flexible those legs are on a deer. Apparently more flexible than mine, because I can't do this with my arm. But she was hooked good, and it was just had to tuck her head down, push it over, and rub her little shoulder into place, and say, "Go, go, go." So that was fun.
Good man.
The thought of
saved a
deal
life
did cross my
today.
mind.
You saved a life. God will give you a special present later today.
If I have a plate of venison veal, that would be nice. No, I'm kidding. I was
Oh
being
my
drawn.
God! Well, you should have. Well, yeah, I would have just let fate dictate whether you would have venison tonight or not. Then, if that's the case.
Yeah, exactly. No, I couldn't do it.
Oh
I've,
man.
I've hunted rabbits, but when it comes to shooting deer, I've never had any luck at it, and never wanted to do it anytime I saw them. I was in my mother-in-law's back lot 25 years ago, and she's got like 100 acres of pine forest that have grown up over old cow pastures from plantations and such. And I'm walking back, and there's like this rustling in the. I only take it to shoot snakes because there's snakes out in that little pond. And there's this huge rustling going on in the grass off to the side of the path. I knew there was barbed wire there, and I went over, and there was a more fully grown female deer who had apparently dove under there and got the barbed wire hooked in her hide, so she wasn't going anywhere. So I was like, okay, I had to put my hand on her back and hold her down and then unhook her. And as soon as it was unhooked, it was like I almost got hooked in the barbed wire myself. She took off so fast. And I was like, you're welcome. don't stay around for a thank you.
Oh man. Woof. That's a lot more eventful than anything that I did today.
Well, you cook. That's far. If that's more dangerous to me, cooking. I would burn a house down. So you were.
Oh man, I've had to do it. I mean, since I was like 13, I've had to learn how to cook. Let's just say there's a lot of things I had to learn how to do myself and things I had to do myself. So I learned relatively early with a lot of things that I had to do. But that's neither here nor there.
I'm renting a room, so I can't cook anyway. My pantry is off to the side here. It's a shelf. It's a chair. Okay, to be honest, it's a recliner chair, and I'm using it to store stuff. If it doesn't need refrigerating, I'm okay. I got my bread, got my peanut butter, got my, it's amazing. You can actually put meat in a pouch and
meat
pouches.
Meat pouches. I love meat pouches. Those are awesome.
And it took me 3.5 months to figure out that there was more than just tuna out there. I'm like, my world has expanded.
There is more than tuna. You believe it or not.
I was eating all different kinds of flavors of tuna every single freaking day. I was turning into a fish.
Good God. I've had to do that. That's some fun stuff.
Yeah, exactly. But you got more fun stuff going on. You've been finishing up chapter 2. So this is chapter 1. I know you were, like in the last couple of pages of chapter 1 last time we were talking. Not even.
Yeah, that was a while ago. Yeah. That was a while. When did we last talk aside from yesterday?
Oh, I can tell you if I just pull out my calendar here and look back. May 1st.
May 1st. I must have started chapter 2 at that point because I finished chapter 1. I finished chapter 1 before the launch of the Kickstarter I finished it. I finished the first issue. Oh, when the hell did I finished the art on the first issue before the Kickstarter launched.
Okay.
I finished the coloring, and then I had to do a crap ton of editing with the lettering. Oh my God. And then I finally put it together, the print and all that stuff, with maybe a week to go after the Kickstarter succeeded. And I was already waiting a couple of weeks for the money from there anyway. So I was like, I finished the lettering finally, got it in, and a week and a half later, the funds came in from the Kickstarter, and boom, I was able to send everything out as much as I could.
Yeah. So the Indiegogo here is just sort of like let's scoop up the people who didn't get a chance to fund it on Kickstarter. Get in at the last minute.
Yeah, this is forgive me. This is the remainder of whatever I have. I have 20 copies of the hardcover and 20 copies of the soft cover. So far, so good. Someone backed out, but then that person wanted the issue immediately. So, so it's like when he lived in the UK, so I was like, all right, fine, let's do it.
Just sell it direct.
I prefer to do that, to be honest. Would save a lot of time.
Let's just set up an online store.
I'm gonna that's what I should have done, and I was too busy being focused on this stuff, and that's my fault. I just have to do an Etsy or a Shopify or whatever it's going to be.
Well, Nina is waiting for book 2 to hit Kickstarter. Her mom backed you, but she wants to get 1 and 2 together when it comes out. So that's what
I'm going to have that option. Actually, I'm going to have that option as a reward on the Kickstarter. I'm gonna I actually, whatever I have left, I'm gonna have that, and I may very well print, if there's a demand for it, I may print an X amount of issue 1, both hardcover and softcover.
Do you think if you do that, will you be printing them with like a different cover so that they're distinctive from what people backed for the first printing?
Possibly, yeah. Yeah, I already have an alternate cover for that. I just have to figure out if I'm going to do that or not.
All right.
I mean, I'll be honest. Should I do that? Should I print with an alternate cover for the first issue?
I would, and I only say that because I've seen people get angry that hey, I backed this thing, and now it's like you're giving it away on the second one here as new printings. It's not nearly as rare as it was before.
All right, then I should.
Yeah,
then I'll do that just so it's a visual confirmation that it's a new print.
Yeah, I actually seen people get upset that they back something on Kickstarter and it goes to Indiegogo and it's the same exact thing. They're like, this was a special thing. So, I've seen artists that now will do an exclusive Kickstarter cover and an exclusive Indiegogo cover.
Wow. Okay.
And I don't know, I guess it's a double benefit because first of all, you don't upset anybody that backed one and then sees on the other. And second of all, if they back the one, they're like, well, now I've got to have the exclusive Indiegogo cover too. And they back both of them.
I'm writing this down. Thank you very much for the tip. Consider using different covers.
I've just watched enough of these things. Even Mike Jimmy here in the chat saying, I would at least put second print somewhere on it, either on the inside or with a small adjustment on the cover. I've seen it really a lot, Rich, with people who kickstart something that then goes through Diamond. They'll have the exclusive Kickstarter cover, and that will be different from the one that goes on the store shelves.
All right, got it.
Even if it's nothing more than having the Kickstarter logo on the cover somewhere in the corner. So that's so you don't have to do new art. You just put that imprint on it somewhere so that you know that this was the Kickstarter book. That's merely the LCS book that went on the shelves.
Maybe put down KS or IGG logo. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. I'll do that. Thank you very much. Wow. I love this community. Everybody helps out. And
they do.
If anybody have ever asked me any questions, I do the best I can to answer them as well.
Yeah. This doesn't happen in the mainstream.
No, it does not. It does not. I work the mainstream. I worked the mainstream for over a decade. It's not pleasant. There are times when it's not pleasant.
There were times when we want to talk about the whole. We talk about mainstream. I'm still thinking Marvel and DC. They are the mainstream. And there were times when they used to get along. There was in the 70s they used to have like an annual softball game where the two companies would come together and play softball against each other. But I don't know. It seems to become. I don't know when it happened. They were doing crossovers, and then Dan Didio was at DC, and he and Joe Quesada were at odds over something, and then we weren't getting any more Marvel and DC crossover events, which just
that I did not hear about. But if that's the case, that's rather sad because when they had the JLA Avengers crossover, that was nuts.
That was nuts.
That was nuts. And for Batman to admit that he would lose to Captain America in a fight, I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, and he admitted it after analysis. He didn't even fight him to do it. He's like, yeah, you're gonna win.
Well, what got me, the one thing that got me on that one was that Superman beat the crap out of Thor, and Superman does not do magic at all.
No.
And Thor has his power from mystic otherworldly forces. And so he should have destroyed Superman, really just kicked his ass. But no, I heard about that one though. I heard that it's like the editors at DC were refusing to allow Superman to lose to Thor. So Superman beat the crap out of Thor, but as recompense or whatever the word is supposed to be, as soon as like all the Marvel heroes saw that Thor was going down, it's like, no, not him, and they all started ganging up and beating the crap out of him and everything, and it was pretty nasty. And then
Wasn't
the
that
rest of the heroes like, no, don't do that to him, and they started like really scrumming and everything. It was awesome.
wasn't that
I'm
the
like,
same book where they had like it was either in the story or it was a promo image. They had Superman beat up, his costume ripped, and he's holding Thor's hammer and Captain America's shield.
yeah,
That was just an awesome image.
yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that was fun. That was really fun that he had to hold up that damn shield and that. My God.
And
But
that
then
thing is out of
afterwards,
print.
I mean, it was a temporary allowance of Superman to hold that. It's not that Superman isn't worthy; he just wasn't worthy.
Yeah.
After
At the
he
time.
finished using it, it's like, wait a minute, I can't lift this thing. It's like, no, you got to be worthy there, pal. You need
Yeah.
worthy.
You're only temporarily worthy.
Yep, that's it.
I bought that soft cover within the past year, and I had to hunt high and low for it because it's out of print and it's expensive now. But
I picked it up at Strand Bookstore about 5 years ago. No, longer than that. I'd say about 5-6 years ago, and it was $40 at that point. It was the only
yeah.
copy left, and it was damaged. Yeah.
And we don't get any more of that stuff.
No, we don't. We don't get any of that stuff anymore. The only thing that I've seen that we've gotten is just like continuous reboots.
Yeah.
It's like every other year, it's like an all new, all different, or whatever it's going to be. New 52 or Flashpoint. What? I'm just like, enough already. Calm down, man. Yeah. Stick with one thing and another.
I did try to write a crossover one time for Marvel and DC. Now, granted, I was 11. And I wrote it in pencil on lined paper from a spiral notebook, and I mailed it in. And Dick Giordano wrote me back on DC Company stationery.
Well.
So I wish I still had that letter. Maybe it's in my parents' house somewhere. But they had cool stationery because it was like the back of the paper was Superman with Batman on his shoulders, Wonder Woman on his shoulders, stacked up all the way to whoever, and whoever was on top was holding the DC globe. But they were printed in reverse, so if you held up the paper to a light, it was like a watermark that would show through. It was very nice, and just that Dick would do that to for an 11-year-old kid who just wrote a penciled letter in saying, "Hey, here's a story where Superman discovers that Krypton exploded because Galactus landed on the other side and made the core go crazy when he tried to eat the planet." And I was like, yeah, it actually worked out. It was just something like that would make sense.
That's actually a really good story. Holy shit. Oh my God. I think someone ripped off your story.
I did see something about a Superman Silver Surfer story one time that might have gone that same way, but yeah.
Someone ripped it up. Man, you got to find out.
I don't think I'd have any recourse because I'm sure I don't have the original copy of the story anywhere. But I do know that I sent it in, and then I went all fanboy. I was like, and the Fantastic Four got to stop him because Galactus is a force of nature, and just
how old? What year was this when you sent it in?
Oh gosh, I'm 54 this Tuesday. I was 11, so 43 years ago.
Oh, wow. Oh my God, because you wrote down that Galactus was a force of nature.
No. I'd already read the John Byrne book, The Trial of Reed Richards.
I was about to say that John Byrne wrote that with The Trial of Reed Richards.
Yeah.
I remember I had that issue. I collected Fantastic Four because John Byrne was drawing the damn thing. Because I was like, okay, great, he's drawing it now.
Those are great stories.
Oh yeah, they were great. The double-sized issue with Gladiator and how he messed them all up and all that crazy stuff, man, that was just nuts. And the Skrulls coming down as the X-Men. Oh, that was so good. Oh man, I miss that. I miss a lot of that stuff. Now, you know what? I don't even know what Marvel and DC comics are like now because I have not picked one up in the longest time.
I have picked up very few DC and no Marvel. I have no idea what's going on in Marvel other than what I see reprinted from panels and talking with my LCS guys who will be on the show tonight at 7. And it's like, 2 issues was a dinner. They were at a dinner, and I'm like, that can't be right. Now what's the next thing? The Hellfire Gala. Oh, now they're going to a fashion party.
Really?
Yeah. Yep. The X-Men are going to the Hellfire Gala. First of all, why would they go to a Hellfire Gala? They're the X-Men. They're the good guys. The Hellfire Club was the bad guys, and they're just
That
really
already happened. Oh my God, that already happened.
Yeah.
That happened over 40 years ago.
It's hard to come up with new ideas, Rich.
The House of Ideas doesn't come up with any fucking ideas. Who was the House of Ideas? Was it Marvel or DC or Image?
Marvel. Marvel was the House of Ideas, supposedly.
Not anymore. The House of Regurgitation is more like it. I mean, God, man, really?
It's double regurgitation. The writers regurgitate what went before, and the fans just throw up.
Sewer? I give up. I'll stick with my book. I'm good.
It's like Friends with mutants.
I'm good. Come on, it's like Friends with Mutants. It is Friends with Mutants. Jesus Christ.
Well, speaking of your book, we should talk about that a little bit while you're here.
Oh, that would be nice. I mean, I wasn't going to say a word. I would have, blunt and honest, I wasn't going to say a word. I'm just conversing with you. I mean, the last time we talked, it was a good 3 hours.
It was at least 2.5 hours because I hit the hour mark.
3 hours. We talked about everything. You showed me original art, which, wow. You showed me prints.
Prints. I had prints of portfolios. I had some original art. I think I showed you I probably showed you my Batgirl original art that I'd been collecting.
Maybe you probably did.
But yeah, you said you were good after an hour to keep going, and I totally forgot the time difference. I kept you up till 4 in the morning.
I did not care. I'm good tonight, because it's only 10:30. It's only 10:40, 10:24 here. It's not late at all. I mean, late for me is like 3 o'clock in the morning late. So I'm just like, whatever. I don't really care at this point right now.
Yeah, I can't do that.
Yeah, this is my book.
I
I started the Indiegogo a while ago, but I got suspended from social media, from Facebook, and I wasn't able to promote the damn thing the right way. So
What'd you do?
I decided to cancel that one and then start a new one, but with a fixed goal, thinking that I was going to be able to make it because it was a $600 goal, and I did not make it. So then I just decided to do it again, and here we are. I have 350 British pounds out of a 975-pound goal, which is flexible. So I'll get it one way or the other.
Yeah, flexible is because you already did it with Kickstarter. You're funded. You've got the money for the books.
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, I took care of that, and I had extra copies after I sent everything. I had like about 25 copies left from everything, so I was just I want to sell them, so I decided to do that.
Yep, I've done the same thing. I had Destroyer books. I was doing signed Destroyer books with Indiegogo, and I didn't sell that many of them, but it was my first shot.
Yeah, well, it's I was happy. I was happy that I'm able to do that. And so far, 15 people have backed it, which I'm pleased at. I do have a surprise, though. If we get to a point where we have 25 backers, I have an A4 size or like a letter size drawing of our hero in there. And if we reach 25, there's going to be one lucky backer who's going to get it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's just a regular commission by me. A regular commission of the character that I have grown to absolutely adore. This is the best thing that I've ever done. The best thing I've ever done.
Do you have it there?
Yeah, there's only like there's 4 perks here. That's it. I wanted to just make it cut and dry in case anybody wanted a drawing. They'd be able to get it with a book. And so far, I got one for the soft cover and one for the hardcover.
I see that.
Yeah,
$71 for a commission with a soft cover. You're getting a commission with that, folks. That's that's
pretty good.
That's a great rate. $99 US for a commission with the hardcover. Yeah, go with that. Take that. And I do like that this is very simple. So it's soft cover, hardcover. Get a commission. Get a commission. Anything else would be like add-ons. Do you have add-ons with it? Is it something you can?
I do have add-ons. I have a printed out black and white Incantesi companion where in the beginning, it gives insight to three characters, the three main characters, like Cassandra, Amelia, her mentor, and Valeria, the girl who wants to take over the power of the Incantesi. It's a really big, long, convoluted thing. And then it gives that. Then I show you guys in the Incantesi Companion of all the pages that I did not use in the first chapter, which was a lot. I think I drew. I think I discarded 10 pages. Now that I look back on it, there were 10 pages I did not use for the first chapter.
Oh, you could.
Yeah, I know. That was bonkers. I realized how much I lost. I was like, oh my God, what have I done? And there were even pages that I wanted to redo because I didn't like the way they looked. I was like, yeah, I don't like this one. I'm going to change this. And I did. And then what else goes in there? There are just a couple of factoids about what's going to come up, what's going on. And it has on the next to last pages, I took a snapshot of the very first drawing of the Incantesi, and that was done. And I've said it a million times, and I'll say it a million more. A young lady named Sofia Broccani, an actress from Italy, was watching a few of my live drawing sessions, and she asked if I can draw a commission for her. I was like, absolutely. And I was like, what would you like? And she was like, I want to be like a witch or a warlock or something like that. I want to use mystic arts and be a sorceress. I was like, okay, cool. So I drew the character. Out of nowhere, it just popped into my head. And I drew it, and I really liked it. I was like, this is a pretty damn good commission. She loved it. And, that was the end of that. I mean, I was still living in New York City at the time. So I wasn't really keen on sending it to her just yet because mail from the United States anywhere outside of the United States is atrocious. I was like, all right, whatever it is, it is. So what happened was, like about a month later, I decided I wanted to do my own self-publishing. I was like, all right, what am I going to do? So I thought of some of the characters that I had, and I was like, wow, they all suck. I hate them, so I'm not going to use them. So I was a little dejected. I was looking on my desk, and I saw her drawing underneath the pile of paper that I had. And then out of nowhere, the story just popped into my head. And I decided I was going to do that. So the first thing I did before I did anything else was I contacted Sophia, and I asked her if I can use her likeness in the book, because that, to me, is what made the character. She said yes, and the rest is history. Now I'm on chapter 2. I'm almost done with one hell of a chapter 3 and an undecided chapter 4 on what I'm going to do with it.
Cool. Has she had any back and forth involvement with the book, other than saying, "Yeah, you can do it"? Because I don't see what she would contribute to it, but I just don't know if you guys stay in communication.
What we did was, what I did was I would show her the art. That's one thing. I would show her the art first out of anybody. It's not like I was going to show it to her for approval or anything, but I was like, this is what do you think of this? And she's like, I love it. Oh my God, it's great. Blah, blah, blah. And I would show her the script, and I would ask her a couple of things about the script. And she's made quite a few suggestions for the first chapter. The second chapter is a little bit more cohesive than the first one. In chapter 3, I made sure that it was going to be a lot more cohesive than chapter 2. I wanted to make sure I nailed it down, which I did. She has some effect in it, but really the only thing that she's really doing at this point right now is just, sharing any posts that I have, sharing any go lives that I do that she participates in or she does not participate in. And I use her likeness in the book, and that's it. That's really it. But without her, I wouldn't have this book.
I think we talked the last time too about the possibility of her, and it came from the chat, was the possibility of her doing a cosplay cover, a photo cover for one of the books.
I've approached her about it. I approached her about it. She seemed apprehensive about it, and she doesn't really speak English at all.
Okay.
We have to go through a Google translating and stuff like that. So for me, it's like, I want to make sure that I'm asking the right thing, and I had to word everything out. Not that she doesn't understand it, she does, but I wanted to make sure how she felt about it. And if there was any shred of any potential doubt, I really wasn't going to ask her again. I mean, until I start going to conventions or some such like that. I mean, if she wants to, she can. If she wants to, she's more than welcome to. And I'll be honest with you, if all of a sudden somehow this becomes a film and I'm the director, guess who I'm gonna tab to have her play it?
Of course.
Yeah, she's perfect for it. I couldn't have come up with a better character, especially with her look, because I mean, Sophia to me, classic Italian beauty. Oh my God.
And her character is
I'm sorry?
and she's the inspiration behind the character for Cassandra.
Yeah, the lead character, right? That's Sophia Broccani's likeness there.
All right.
I have about 150 pictures of her face. She sent me 150 pictures of her face.
Wow.
In every conceivable mood, angle, whatever it might be. I asked her if she could send me a bunch of pictures for face shots, and she went to town. Went to town. You know, and I was very, very appreciative of that. You know, so yeah, she is part and parcel. Yeah, there she is. Look at that face. Look at that faccia. Faccia bella. Look at that. Oh my God.
And of course, you know, all I do is look up her name, and you know, one of the first options that shows up.
Yeah, look at that. Do you believe that stuff? Pop. There it is. That's her.
Yeah, very cool.
Oh, so, she's I fucking love this girl. She's great. She's a sweetheart. She really is.
Yeah, I think it would make a great looking cosplay cover, but you know.
Oh, it would. No, she would. I'm not gonna press the issue.
No, yeah.
I asked her already. She felt a little bit apprehensive about it. She has no problem with her likeness in the comic. That's fine. I did ask her for the cosplay if she was interested. She seemed hesitant. So the moment that something like that happens, I will not push the issue. Not at all.
Yeah. But I talk with cosplay with people before, and they're like, "What's cosplay?" I'm like, "That's people dressing up, you know, and going to conventions."
Grown up dress up. That's all it is.
Yeah, and then they'll Google cosplay, and the first 3 pages they get are going to be like Lolita Con stuff. And they're like, ah!
Oh God! And everyone thought it was the most original thing to go as Harley Quinn in Suicide Squad or Deadpool.
Yeah. It's
Deadpool.
I've seen so many freaking Harley Quinns at every con I go to.
Each one thought they were hotter than the next one. I'm like, no.
Yeah, I like seeing something. I like people cosplaying characters that I've forgotten existed until I see them again.
Yeah.
I mean, I was trying to put together a full black leather Animal Man cosplay one year. I was like, no, that's going to get hot and expensive. wearing full leather head to toe in July. Yeah, no, I don't think that's a good idea.
No, I've never cosplayed. I've never cosplayed in my entire life. I don't know if I'm going to. The only person I would ever cosplay would be Rick Sanchez. That would be it.
What's
because for a while I've been trying to sound like him, and you know sometimes it works, you know, and I did that one time. Like a bunch of guys were like dressed up as like Morty, and I was like, Morty, what are you doing that girl? How much do you have to pay her to ride the ferry with you? Jesus, Morty, did you raid my pocket change bucket again? I mean, what's wrong with you, Morty?
Oh. Yeah, you got a good one going there. This is the only time I've cosplayed.
Well, which one are you?
I mean, I'm in the Joker outfit here.
You're in the Joker outfit? Oh my God!
1989 with Dick Giordano and Denny O'Neil there beside me.
Wow.
That was the days when you could just walk up to the table and say, "Hey."
Yeah, that was the day. That was the days. Now it's you really can't do that anymore. I mean, I don't know if you're even able to do that at this point.
Marvel had Spider-Man running around. We got a pose with that one.
Nice.
If you saw anybody in a costume, though, they weren't just like, you know, walking around. I was one of like 5 people at Chicago Comic-Con that had a costume on. Anybody else was like, they were booth babes. They were there to promote, like the Stargrazers were there. So like I got pictures with them, but that was just, you know, I have no idea. Yeah, I know.
Oh my God. Yeah. Someone I used when I lived in North Carolina, someone wanted to be someone wanted to be a booth babe, but she was like, oh my God.
Not Boothalicious.
No, it's not even so much that. It was just the desperation behind it. I was like, she's my age, and she's like, she's the type that is really trying to hold on desperately to her youth.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, it's like she probably she probably has an OnlyFans at this point. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if she has an OnlyFans, and I'm like, okay. But yeah, the last time I spoke to that particular person was she wanted to give me a Reiki massage, and I was like, is there a happy ending involved in this? And probably not, because there's no tactile contact. So yeah, the answer is no.
Is the phrase Visa or MasterCard going to come out at any moment here?
Yeah, no, it definitely would, because it was like $50 for each Reiki massage. I'm like, what? And I look up what a Reiki massage is, and I'm like, what?
I have
What
no
is
idea
this
what
thing?
it is.
Is it like giving the interviews and stuff?
Is it the one where they put rocks on your back?
Oh God, I have no idea. I really don't know. I wasn't really paying attention. I was just, I was being something of a chauvinist a few years ago when it concerned her female anatomy. But I'm so much more enlightened now. But I mean, the one thing that I'm enlightened about is what's that? If it cannot be young anymore, I shall at least be a cougar. Yeah,
it's a new superhero. Yes, Father, I shall become a cougar.
I shall become the cougar, and I'll be on the prowl. Oh God, there were women who actually said that, and I heard that out loud. She, like a bunch of women in like the fucking early 2000s. Like, I think that's when that phrase was somewhat popular, and it's like, yeah, I'm a cougar. I'm on the prowl for a young cub. And something like that was celebrated, and I'm just like, no.
It wasn't supposed to be. It wasn't supposed to be a compliment.
It's not a compliment. There's ways for both women and men. There's way for both women and men to act, with class, like a maturity. You know what I mean? Yeah. Who has that kind of maturity? Jackie O had that kind of maturity. She was gorgeous. And she was almost regal in anything she does, but she was one of the most beautiful women in the 60s, regardless of whatever the hell it was. Marilyn Monroe, the same thing, really, and it's like a bunch of actresses too. Meryl Streep was like that. There were so many people around our age.
And still gorgeous and still sexy.
Oh, absolutely. It's like I feel really good about myself now that, well, I survived cancer, so that's great. But I feel good about myself at my age, and it has nothing to do with me going on TikTok, or like doing some stupid jackass style stunt or something, or making a, whatever those things are, or making a meme. It's like there's a way to carry yourself when you get older, and it's I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying that anybody's immature or anything like that, but I'm just like, after a while, it's like, no, I personally wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do any of that stuff.
We're not going to get any hot tub live streams on your Twitch channel?
The only thing that I plan on doing, well, I was going to sell my bathwater. I was going to sell my bathwater after I farted in it a few times, and
you got to get it bubbles. Yeah.
And I would have sold it for like $100, and shit you not, I probably would get a whole bunch of people buying it, because a lot of people did. With Belle Delphine, I think don't ask me how I remember her name. Maybe it just rolls off. It sounds like Memphis Belle.
Yeah.
Like one of the World War II bombers or something. And it's the only thing the one thing I did do. The one thing I did do, and Pops Van Zandt will confirm this with me, is that if I got to 2,500 British pounds at the end of my first campaign, and I had a lot of hair, like really a lot of hair, I would shave my head, and I did. I did that. As soon as I hit 2,500 quid, my hair was so thick that I couldn't do anything with it. Rich would crush it on TikTok, those short, crazy video clips. Oh God. I really gotta tell you, it was like my hair is so thick that I had to shear it with scissors first
Yeah.
to cut all the length off and all the thickness off, and then I went with the with the razor, and I was just like, with the clippers, and boom, that was it. And it was the first time I ever saw my skull. I was impressed.
Ready to sign up for the armed forces at that point.
I know, right? The music from Full Metal Jacket was playing in my head when I was doing that, and it's like I'm thinking Gunny Hartman was going to start screaming at me. But the one thing I was going to do, the hell was I going to do? I was thinking of another gimmick that I was going to do. Like if I reached 4,000 British pounds or something like that for the campaign, I was going to wax my chest hair live.
Oh, ow.
Yeah, I know.
Don't.
That.
No more self-flagellation, man.
And 5,000 quid for the ladies. I was going to do a Magic Mike dance.
Well, now that's that.
Yeah, that was sexy.
We ain't got far to go for that. Come on. we're $495. I think we can get that done in the next 22 days.
Oh, what? How much I have left on this one?
Yeah, we can get you up to for 5,000 now.
5,000?
Well, isn't that what you want? You want 5,000 quid
for chapter 2? Yeah.
Oh, okay. Chapter 2.
Not this one. This one's not. If this one reaches 1,000, I'll be surprised. Well, for it to reach over 1,000 quid, like everyone has to get from here on in the soft cover, the hardcover for the commissions. Actually, no, that'd be a lot. If everyone ordered the soft cover, the hardcover with the commissions, I would do pretty well on this.
Yeah, you got five of each.
Well, if I run out of 5 and then someone asks me if I can put another one in there, I can easily just transfer it. That wouldn't be an issue at all.
Oh yeah, commissions come out of you. It's not like you're a limited. You are limited.
I only decided to do that just as a divvy because I didn't think that I'd get like more than. I mean, truth to be honest, I didn't think I'd get more than 2 or 3 commissions. So far, I got 2, which is great. But it just. I have no issue doing that.
Are your commissions? Are they of Cassandra or the other characters, or is it just like anybody?
Any character they want, any character they choose. I drew a commission for this woman. Her name was Bianca. She didn't know if she wanted Rogue or Superman. So I said, why don't you have Rogue kissing Superman with Lois Lane watching from the Daily Planet? And she was like, yeah, let's do it. And I did, and it was awesome. So it's like anything that anybody wants to draw, that's totally fine. It wants me to draw, it's totally fine with me. And the added benefit is that it goes on my YouTube channel.
Oh yeah, so you can show people.
It goes on my YouTube channel, and I live stream it. I use the StreamYard, and I live stream it on YouTube first, then Twitter, and then Facebook.
And that was some pretty shrewd business on your end there too, because she couldn't figure out which one character you wanted, and you talked her into 3 characters, which. I don't know what you charge, but
that, and I wanted to make sure that she was going to really enjoy the thing that I did, and I was like, okay, she loved it.
I know some people, the commission goes up if there's another character in it.
That's something that's something I'm probably going to figure out the next time I do a commission.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like whatever fits in the 8.5 by 11.
I mean, I have to be honest with you. I was really gung ho in making sure that I would just reach the goal for the first one. I was like, if I reach 1,100 quid, I'm happy.
Yeah, I had
and I did a lot more than that, which I was pleased. So anyway, go ahead.
I went to Wizard World in St. Louis with the intent of getting a commission done by somebody. So I'm like, prowling the artist aisles, and I found a guy that could do the style I was looking for. Dan Doherty, he does the Beardo strips, and I was like, this is what I want. And my son was like 8 at the time. And I was like, he's got like, if he's got one Archie Digest, he's got 10,000 of them. I mean, we literally have a wire shelf that we got from Toys R Us going out of business that's full and jam packed of these Archie Digests. Yeah. I said, I want him with the little Archies, that version. I want him walking arm in arm with Betty and Veronica, walking off. Archie going like, what the hell just happened? And Jughead laughing his ass off at the whole thing. And he's like, yeah, that's so much per character. I'm like, holy crap. And it came out to like $125 for the commission, which I
really
gladly paid because it looked fantastic. It's still hanging up on his wall.
I've heard that too. I just never really thought of it. I was like, okay, I'll just draw it. I don't know.
$25 a character. I'm like, yeah, go for it. And it looked just like him in the Archie style. And because he was, a little bigger than the little Archies. Little Archies are like 5 or 6, and here he was like closing in on 10. Dan just aged the Archies up, so they were like this middle school Archie characters level. It looked great. Got it nicely framed up. It's a gorgeous print. I don't buy a whole bunch of commissions, but when I do, I'm really happy with what I get.
Excellent, man. Excellent. That's really cool. No, I'll have to figure something like that out as well. Now I feel like a novice because there's so many things that I'm forgetting or not even realizing. Eek.
Yeah, you
take advantage of me.
Whoever's
there, take advantage of what I have to offer, because it's like if I do an A4 commission, at that price, you'd be able to have like the cover of Justice League International, with all the faces on it. So
I was going to say, that cover of Crisis that George Perez did.
Yeah, good luck on that one. I would simply need a bigger piece of paper for that one. And if it was going to be that, I'd be like, well, it's going to cost a little.
Yeah, exactly. Because George was famous for like, if you count, there's like maybe 3,000 people in the crowd here, and you can identify each of them.
God,
that'd be insane.
I love George Perez. Love his art. He's really he's one of my inspirations. When it comes to any type of really a big need for a really complicated scene, George Perez comes to mind when it comes to that. The storytelling aspect for anything that I do, I'm heavily influenced by Paul Smith.
Oh yeah, he's good.
Heavily influenced by Paul Smith. I really am. A lot of my art mirrors his. And it turns out that's just the way that I draw. But Paul Smith, yeah, he's the best storyteller that I've ever seen in comics. Flat out. I love him. Idolize and worship this man.
Yeah.
I don't know what he looks like, and I wish I was able to see him at a convention, but no. I mean, I've never met him, but he is the reason as to why I draw the way I draw.
Now, you've drawn, we've talked about this. You've drawn for Marvel before. You've been in the business. Now that you've had this taste of, crowdfunding and doing it on your own, what would it take to bring you back to Marvel to do something?
Don't know. I mean, it all depends. I think it would be because I want to revisit those characters again.
So it had to be somebody that you were interested in drawing. That
it would be me having to want to specifically draw a certain character that I would find interesting. Well, like it sounds really silly of me, but one of the characters that I would love to draw a mini series or even a maxi series with Toe Vicious would be Nightcrawler of the X-Men.
He's got a unique look.
I'm sorry?
I like his look. He's got a unique look.
I love his look. I absolutely love his look, and the way his costume is put together, the way that he is, his whole character, where it borders on the demonic as well as the religious. I mean, there'd be so many things that I'd be able to do with this character if I wrote him. Wrote him as well as drew this character. It would be a big crowning achievement because Nightcrawler has always been one of my more favorite characters. And it's like, if I was going to do that, it would be like Nightcrawler. Who else? It wouldn't be any of the really, really big heroes. It wouldn't be any of those really big guys. Like, I mean, maybe I would think maybe a Daredevil. a Daredevil because it would force me to change my style of art, and I'd have to use a lot more dramatic shadowing and angles. And I'd want something that would challenge me.
Sure.
Because it doesn't take. Forgive me for any artist who's ever worked on X-Men or Avengers or whatnot and stuff like that. I mean, it's not terribly difficult to draw a battle scene. It's not. It's not. I mean, there's choreography.
I can't say that it's not because I can't draw anything.
Well, it's the choreography of a fight is pretty, standard. It's like maybe 2 pages of like blows being exchanged, and then someone gets the upper hand and throws him through a brick wall 100 miles away. Something along those lines. With Daredevil, not so much Spider-Man, but with Daredevil, you have to rely on the physics, real world physics on how a human would fall if he was jumping between buildings who can't see.
Yeah.
Spider-Man has his webs. That's it. And he has his hands and feet that can adhere to virtually any surface. That's less difficult than it would be to figure out how I would have Daredevil manage a fight if he had to do some leaping around.
Yeah, the choreography for him is different.
It would have to be the challenge of the hero. It would have to be the challenge of who the character is. Nightcrawler would be a challenging character to write and to draw. Again, just like I said before, because it's like he has the demonic look, but he's devoutly Catholic. What's the dichotomy between that? I mean, how does that sanctify his own persona physically and mentally? It's like there's so many layers of things that you can do with that character. He's so rich to write about. And like with Daredevil, of course, you have the aspect that he's blind, then he has this radioactive sense, and he can hear better than a dog and see, and and everything else. Read Braille or read print on a page without the ink being raised at all. I'd love to get into the aspect on how he initially would deal with something like that.
Yeah, and both the characters you've mentioned are both deeply devoutly Catholic. It would be interesting. Yeah. Do they attend the same mass? Just kind of bump into each other.
Yeah, that was funny. Both of them are getting communion at the same time. You're right. I completely forgot that. And I mean, as far as Marvel is concerned, those were the characters I would go for. DC Comics, I have to be honest, I'm really not sure. A lot of them are OP.
Yeah.
Even Batman is OP. He is, and in Lex Luthor, he's become, he's become beyond Omega level mutant without the benefit of actually being a mutant. I mean, he's supposed to be smarter than Batman, and I'm like, maybe.
Yeah, well, now he's Apex Lex. He's been changed by, I don't know who's in charge of the DC universe. There's a goddess now that created everything, and she mutated him into some 8-foot tall, super genetic, powerful being. Yeah,
really.
Yeah, the DC is in more need of a reboot than it ever was pre-crisis. It's a mess, and they've done this whole DC metal thing now. So now it's like, now there's like the dark multiverse and the multiverse, and all the stories are bleeding over each other. Rich, they did a story. They did
that whole thing for a year.
Yeah,
I picked up every freaking issue of that thing for a year. It was supposed to stick. That was it. And it's like all of a sudden now it's like, well, they did that in the 90s. They did that in the 90s with it wasn't a Flashpoint event. It was something else.
Countdown?
Yes, Countdown. I'm like, come on, man. No, stop restarting every friggin' thing. Just enough. Ew.
I don't see how they don't have a way out of it this time, though. They've got to restart because it's a total mess. They've got the linear verse now, Rich. Okay, have you heard the linear verse in DC? You haven't heard of that?
A linear burst?
Linear verse, like multiverse.
Okay.
So they
What's
had
that
this.
About?
Well, they had this story that was like just a standalone thing. That was time travel, and all these different DC characters were pulled out of different times to fight whatever battle was being fought against some time master thing. Booster Gold's involved, young and old, Wave Rider, but they pulled Batman from the 1930s. So that Bob Kane looking Batman. They pull Starfire from 1985. They pull Commandy. They pull the Crisis version of Dr. Light, the female one. And everybody's fighting together on different fronts, and everybody's happy. Wave Rider's taking Batman back to his time in 1938 at the end of the story, and he explains to him that this is a linear verse and that you will age very slowly over decades. The upshot being that the Batman we have today is the same Batman we had in 1930. And they didn't think about, well, does that mean that everybody's aging slowly? Is Robin a teenager for 30 years? What does any of that mean? It was not well thought out, and probably will be ignored.
Wow, that's heartbreaking.
Yeah,
that is heartbreaking. No, not him. I wouldn't draw him either. Aquaman.
Oh, Aquaman. There's so many different versions of him now that have been out.
Yeah, now it's Jason Momoa.
Yeah, they got to make him look like that.
Now, well, he's I think isn't he gradually turning into Jason Momoa at this point?
Yeah, he is.
Oh, for fuck's sake! Permission to come aboard. Let me take off my shirt and all the tattoos I have. And then have all those girls from Iceland wailing and crying because they won't receive my Atlantean penis anymore. Come on.
The best thing that it takes a good writer to fix a continuity screw up that comes from a reboot. I mean, and when they did Rebirth, they wouldn't commit to it. They didn't say, let's start the DC universe over. They're like, let's start some of the DC universe over, but keep the stuff that's still selling. And that just presents writer problems. They did that with right after Crisis. Hawkman was a mess because they're like, well, he had too many origins. He's like, is he the spaceman from outer space? Is he the reincarnation of Prince Khufu? Is he something else here? And it took James Robinson to come in and the answer was yes. Yes, he was all of those things. And they did this fantastic. Nobody thought anyone could ever make sense out of Hawkman's continuity. And James Robinson did. And he used to do these things called Times Past stories, where you got to see Hawkman in different times of the DC universe that you didn't know that he and Shayera were actually there. I forget exactly which one. There was one of the DC Western heroes, and Cinnamon. Cinnamon was the female Western hero. I remember her, but Cinnamon turned out to have been one of those reincarnations of the ancient Egyptian Shira, and whoever the guy was, I remembered him at the time. I was like, oh, that's cool. So we've been seeing Hawkman's reincarnation happening throughout the DC universe. Why don't we see him in the Legion of Superheroes as somebody? That would be the next logical step for me. But yeah, they made it make sense, and then they threw it all away again.
Hawkman or something.
Yeah, Hawklad.
Hawkman.
Oh, comics.
So have I jumped up recently in pledges or what?
Let us take a look, because we've been pumping this thing so hard.
I know we talked about it for all of maybe 10 minutes so far.
10 minutes and nothing, guys. It's right there on the screen. It's $14 for the soft cover. And it comes with a bookmark and a companion.
For anybody out there who's listening, and who will watch this podcast afterwards, this is a, without me trying to say it, this is a rather good story. Every single person who has backed this project, and any single person who has read the digital copy or anything, they either love it or they love it and they can't wait for the second issue.
Yes.
It's a story that I promise you will grab you in the beginning of everything. And when issue 2 comes out, it's going to further elaborate on the history partially elaborate on the history of Cassandra and Amelia's relationship. There's a lot more layers involved with this, and it's you won't be, if you decide to pick it up, you won't be disappointed. You know, but I'm already number 10. No, I know. Thank you. I appreciate the fact that you did back it. Thank you, Soul.
We'll see. We'll be here for you to back the second one.
I'm sorry.
I said we'll be here for Soul Ion to back the second one.
No, I'm going to be here for the. I'll be here for the second one. The next campaign is going to launch on June 27th. I have to appear on Pops' show for that one.
Of course.
But for the days leading up to the campaign, I'll make sure that I go on everybody's show as much as I possibly can, because this whole thing is me. Now, for anybody who doesn't know that, this whole thing is me. Like this whole book that you see in front of you, this 48-page extravaganza, that's me. I wrote the story. I drew all the pages. I colored all the pages, and I even had the temerity to leather all the pages.
Oh my God!
Yeah, I know. I've done everything on this book, and
lettering's a challenge.
I'm sorry.
Lettering is a thankless challenge, Rich. I mean,
it is a challenge.
If you do it right, nobody notices it.
That I gave it credit for. I have to admit, a lot of things. When it came to the production of this book, I learned a lot. I really did. And one of the things I learned was that lettering is no joke.
No.
Lettering is no damn joke. No matter how many times you proofread it, there will be a spelling error one way or the other. And man, oh man, I must have had that proofread about 10 times by 3 different people. And I still got one word wrong. You know, it's like, but this is it's all me. You know, the whole thing is me, because I believe in this thing. You know, when I work on other projects, I usually do, you know, stuff. I usually do the art. That's it. And if I see any type of error in the continuity of a script, I'll bring it up to the writer. And more often than not, they appreciate the fact that I did, and we wind up changing it. You know, and it's not like I don't put my heart into everything that I do. I do. It's not a question. What it is that this is a very special thing for me, because without trying to sound dramatic either, I was working on this while I was being treated for cancer. And it's like, I was like, if there's one thing that I'm going to effing do before I die, drama, you know, I want to complete this. And I did. And this book showed me that I literally could do anything I choose to if I decide to put my mind to it. And that's why I even expanded on issue 2. You're not going to get just 48 pages of story. You're going to get an epilogue and a prologue for chapters 2, 3, and 4. That if this book is as successful as the first Kickstarter campaign, if chapter 2 is as successful, like if it does twice the amount of what I put down for a pledge, I'll know I'll have something.
Yeah.
Now I will put all of my energies into this, more of my energies than I already have. Because
once it's fulfilled, people will do that too. They'll come back.
Oh yeah. I already have more followers than I did during the campaign of the first one. I already do. I mean, I know it doesn't translate to that much, but if I get to I want to get to about 120 to 150 followers on the second Kickstarter campaign. That's my goal. That is my goal. I mean, not just so I can have a whole bunch of people worshiping me, because I want everybody to read the story. I want everybody to see this. I want everybody to see the art that's there. What's that?
That's my brand new calendar, because I got tired of writing the days down myself. So there you are, June 27th, Incantesi #2 launches.
Yes,
I will be there for it.
Please,
in Pop's audience.
Please be there.
How big of an epic do you see this? You mentioned chapters 3 and 4. Is this chapters of an ending story?
I'm sorry. Go ahead. You first. I'm sorry.
Is this chapters of a story that's like, you know, hey, I've got a 6-issue story that's going to happen, and I'm breaking it up like this? Or is this like it's ongoing and it keeps going until I quit?
Well, this I was going to do a 4-issue series, and I mean, I was going to do a 4-issue series one way or the other. It didn't matter to me. But again, with the success of the first Kickstarter, I thought of what I was going to do after this, because I'll finish everything up by January 2022. Yeah, the fourth issue will be out. You know, it'll be out in February, because I want to make sure that I avoid that Christmas rush type thing.
Yeah.
And it's better that way, because I'll be working from September to December or January, because the fourth issue is going to be a reasonably sized issue, even bigger than what I had before. It's going to include the prologue. I think I'm going to have that story as a either 64 or 72 page finale. And then I'm going to have an epilogue after that. And I'm also, I mean, there's so many things that I want to do with this story, and the last chapter will not be the end of the story.
Okay, good. So it'll continue on, or has at least the capacity
it's
to.
Going to continue on till at least chapter, I mean, you can say chapter. I mean, I say chapter. Anybody else can say issue. It's going to at least go to issue number 8. But each issue is going to have, at the very least, 48 pages of story and content. And it's going to have all of that, because this is my baby. This is like the thing I've always wanted to do, always. And it's like it not so much fell in my lap either. It's a story that I've subconsciously cultivated over all the years that I've been working as a comic book artist. And this is the one thing that I love this more than anything that I've ever created in my entire life, hands down. Hands down. It doesn't matter who I've worked for. This is better than anything I've ever done at Marvel. Far
Hopefully
better.
300 issues later, this will become your Cerebus.
I hope so. It would be nice.
That would be awesome. Nice. All right, Rich, we have to wrap things up here. But you know, thanks for coming on and talking about it some more here. Cannot wait. Oh, you broke up there.
I hope I didn't go over my time. I'm sorry about that.
No. We always go over time. As, you know, like I said, last time we were on for 2.5 hours. I don't know how long we were on the other day. We weren't even broadcasting. We were just talking production.
That is true. That's very true.
We went off on all kinds of tangents. So, you know, it's always a pleasure to talk with you about comics.
Yes, please.
We have tonight at 7 is the LCS guys. I'd love to have you as a guest on that one of these every other Saturdays, but I know it's so late for you there.
Well, I could do it the next Saturday you decide to do it.
Okay. Well,
I'll make sure that I'm awake for that one.
When I schedule one, the next one out here, I'll email you and say, hey, is this the one you want to be in on? And we'll bring you in. We just talk with local comic shop guys about what they're doing in the industry, and you know what sold this week, what didn't, how they're getting screwed by Diamond, et cetera, kind of rinses and repeats.
Unbelievable.
All right,
thank you again for having me on, and thank you again for allowing me to promote this. Because the next time that I'm on your show, we're going to talk about Chapter 2. Chapter 2,
and folks, thank you for coming into the chat and participating in the show. We don't have a show without you. We've become monetized somehow. I don't know how that happened, which means that they can have members, and we do have the most basic of membership levels set up now. For 99 cents on the membership level, I will send you one of these keychains and one of these stickers. That's what I went to Walmart for, was to buy the envelopes for that, and the bread, so I can eat something. So we, smash the like, share the videos. Not for me. I've got the numbers that I want. Share the videos so that the people who come on here can have their product spread to a larger audience, so that they can make the bank that they need to make on these projects. That's what we're here for. That's why I have a show. And as always, folks,